It's tradition that every new year you come up with a set of resolutions to better yourself. This week, several wrestlers reveal their resolutions for 1985. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tyler Vance Rants. I'm your host, Tyler Vance himself, and you're not. It's January 5th, 1985. Last week, it was seemingly the end of Dr. D. David Schultz's career as he slapped ABC reporter John Stossel. Dick Slater, half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and Ricky Steamboat defeated the NWA Television Champion Tully Blanchard, as well as the NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Long Riders, Cowboy Ron Bass and Black Bart, in a bunkhouse match. And WWF Champion Hulk Hogan enlisted a new trainee in the form of Hillbilly Jim. We'll be tuning into the World Wrestling Federation first this week with its flagship show, Championship Wrestling, where Vince McMahon and the living legend Bruno Sammartino call the action. The first match is a tag team match. Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo take on the team of Charlie Fulton and Rusty Brooks. A double dropkick from Rotundo and Windham send Fulton retreating into his corner to tag in Brooks. A shoulder block from Barry Windham doesn't send Rusty Humpty Dumpty Brooks far, however a dropkick and a body slam do the trick. Mike Rotundo gets the tag from his partner, which allows Rusty Brooks enough time to recover and employ a body slam of his own on Rotundo. This leads to Mike heading back to Barry for another tag, allowing Windham to secure the win for his team with a bulldog on Rusty Brooks. The WWF Update, hosted by Lord Awful Alfred Hayes, is hosted from Studio 54 in New York this week. The Multiple Sclerosis Association has awarded both Captain Lou Albano and pop star Cyndi Lauper with an award for them raising $4.2 million to help combat the disease. I don't agree with where Captain Lou Albano's head has been at lately, and I definitely don't approve of the company he currently keeps. However, I do respect his fight against MS. More tag team action follows as Mario Mancini and Steve Lombardi take on classy Freddie Blassie's clients, the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff, who attempts to sing the Soviet-Russian national anthem to get things started, however gets drowned out with a chorus of boos from the classless animals in the crowd. Shut up! And you ask yourself why Nikolai Volkoff hates the American people? This whole match is nothing more than a warm-up for Freddie Blassie's clients. Nikolai Volkoff easily secures a win for his team following a devastating backbreaker on the not-so-Super Mario Mancini. Paul Roma and Salvatore Bellomo look to fare a little bit better against their opponents in the upcoming tag team match we have next. However, considering their opponents are the WWF Tag Team Champions, Adrian, Adonis, and Dick Murdoch, they just might be out of luck. The non-title match sees Adonis and Murdoch employ some of their technical abilities as they keep Roma secluded in their corner with a mixture of technical holds and frequent tags. Salvatore Bellomo goes to his partner's aid, shoving the referee in the process, I might add, and is able to get a tag as a result. The Italian has a strong start, having several tosses employed against Dick Murdoch. However, Bellomo then seemingly forgets what to do next, which allows the WWF Tag Team Champion to tag his partner in. Salvatore Bellomo's hesitation proves to be fatal, as Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch are able to take home a win following a devastating double-team maneuver. Piper's Pit immediately follows, and host Rowdy Roddy Piper has the giant John Studd, the world's strongest man Ken Patera, and Bobby the Brain Heenan as his guests this week. Recently, the Brain planned a successful and debilitating attack against Andre the Giant, which saw some of his famed locks lopped off, which the trio have brought as trophies to the pit. I've been saying it For months, there's room for only one giant in the WWF, and his name is John Studd. Jim Young takes on Dr. D. David Schultz, who hasn't quite lost his career yet, in singles competition following Piper's Pit. And the Doctor starts off by shaking Young's hand in a gesture of tremendous sportsmanship. After that, all it takes is a quick body slam and a diving elbow from the second rope to secure Dr. D the 3. Don Muraco has been training so hard for his return to the WWF that it's only fair that he get an opportunity to take some R&R. I can only dream.
When I come after you, Hogan, it's reality. It's not paid models. It's not suntan.
The main event of WWF Championship Wrestling sees Gino, Carabello, and Dave Barbie team up to face the Briscos, Jack and Jerry, who some might argue are the current #1 contenders for Adrian, Adonis, and Dick Murdoch's WWF Tag Team Championships. I would not be one of those people, because that's just stupid. Jerry Briscoe tries a tackle on Dave Barbie, however he only ends up tripping over him like a buffoon, quickly recovering, however, with a takedown. Jack Briscoe is then tagged in, but quickly suffers a double elbow from Carabello and Barbie. This prompts Jerry to go to his brother's rescue, hitting Gino Carabello with a back suplex. A double underhook suplex gets a 2 count before the Briscoes employ a double shoulder tackle against Carabello. From there, Jerry Briscoe easily forces Gino Carabello to submit with a figure 4 leg lock. But wait! Before we switch over to the NWA's Worldwide Wrestling show, isn't there something missing? Oh yeah, we were supposed to see footage of what happened at the awards ceremony on December 28, 1984 at Madison Square Garden. Well, Vince McMahon has some bad news for us.
Due to the nature of what happened during the awards ceremony, we were unable to bring that to you. Perhaps it will be next week. No promises, however.
Great. So we have to wait another week to see how hogwash Captain Lou Albano's accusations yesterday on TNT against Rowdy Roddy Piper were. Captain Lou Albano probably went so far into delusional territory that the WWF editors are doing everything and fighting for their lives to make sure that the footage they show us is as doctored as possible. Anyways, it's time for Worldwide Wrestling. Tony Schiavone starts the show by interviewing the NWA World Tag Team Champions, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez. It turns out that the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, have challenged Rhodes and Fernandez for their NWA World Tag Team Championships, which is very interesting considering that the Road Warriors are currently the AWA World Tag Team Champions. We get to see what the future NWA World Tag Team Champions are all about, as Animal and Hawk take on Steve Muslin and Rick McCord in tag team action next. Tony Schiavone is on solo commentary tonight, which means that we'll finally be able to get an unbiased look at things. Precious Paul Ellering accompanies his clients, the Road Warriors, down to ringside and gets to witness an absolute feeding frenzy. Animal and Hawk tear their opponents apart. Not even the marrow is left alongside the bones as Animal gets an impressive power slam win. Backstage, Tony Schiavone interviews crying Ricky Steamboat, who wishes everyone a happy 1985 and then lays out a challenge to the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
There's a big, long list of contenders that would like to wrestle against Ric Flair, and I'm going to be in that line. My quest for 1985 is to get the opportunity to wrestle against the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair.
Ricky Steamboat lost to NWA television champion Tully Blanchard at Starrcade 84. He put $10,000 of his own money on the line. So confident was he that he would not only walk away with Tully Blanchard's NWA television championship, but that man's $10,000 as well. That didn't happen, and according to Tully Blanchard's sources, Steamboat had to remortgage his house because his gym was about to go under as a result of the loss. Since then, what has Ricky Steamboat done other than cry? Nothing. But that doesn't matter because this is Jim Crockett Jr.'s show, and he and Steamboat are tight, and he will do anything that he can to make Ricky Steamboat happy. If Ricky Steamboat gets his wish of facing off against Ric Flair despite failure after coming out of retirement, I have to call absolute nonsense. Enough with the losers. It's time for some winners as NWA Television Champion Tully Blanchard once more teams with the NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Long Riders, to face off against Tommy Lane, Lee Ramsey, and Dave Diamond in 6-man tag team action. Curiously, there is no sign of the Long Riders manager, James J. Dillon, as Blanchard starts things off for his team, offering his hand in a gesture of tremendous sportsmanship. Dillon's absence is explained by Tony Schiavone on commentary. He is out searching for more bounty hunters to claim the prize on the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, Dick Slater, Cryin', Ricky Steamboat, Avalanche, Buzz Tyler, and the raging loser Manny Fernandez. It's only a matter of time before those men lose their heads. Unsurprisingly, the teamwork between Tully Blanchard, Ron Bass, and Black Bart is absolutely phenomenal, as each man takes an opportunity to beat on their opponents. Dave Diamond winds up triple teamed in enemy territory before Black Bart takes a nice chunk out of Diamond's face. Dave Diamond gets thrown to the floor like a piece of trash, and the NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion gives him absolutely no reprieve, slamming Dave Diamond into the guardrail. Lee Ramsey gets the tag for his team once Dave Diamond is back inside the squared circle, but all Tully Blanchard has to do from there is hit a slingshot suplex to walk away with the win for his team. Joel Deaton has one objective in the next match against Paul Jones's newest client, the Barbarian: survive. If the Barbarian wasn't enough of an intimidating presence by himself, both he and his manager, Paul Jones, are escorted to the ring by a massive police force. Once the bell rings, Paul Jones's client is all over Deaton, quickly throwing him to the floor, where Paul Jones is kind enough to offer his helping hand. The Barbarian follows his prey to the outside, slamming Joel Deaton's spine into the ring post before they both head back inside the squared circle. Despite all that's happened in the match thus far, Joel Deaton isn't completely useless. He is able to fight out of a bear hug employed by the Barbarian, but then quickly suffers a massive boot to the face, as well as the Barbarian having a snack. With things so desperate for Joel Deaton, Deaton tries to shoulder slam the Barbarian in the corner. However, the whole thing just ends up in failure. Joel Deaton's shoulder instead collides with the corner turnbuckle, and from there, all Paul Jones's client has to do is body slam Deaton before heading up to the top rope, where the Barbarian walks away with the 1-2-3 following a diving headbutt. Welcome to 1985, Joel. The competition is about to get much more intense. Backstage, Tony Schiavone speaks to NWA Television Champion Tully Blanchard, who reminds us, and especially all the lovely women out there,
Countdown to ecstasy. Tully Blanchard's search for the perfect woman
is still on.
The girl I pick is going to be more famous than Bo Derek, Raquel Welch rolled into one. If you want to send in a bikini, you want to send your negligee, hi, you want to send in your birthday suit, you send it to me. Everything's going to be alive in 85.
Tony Schiavone's next guests are the NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Long Riders, who are absolutely ecstatic at the prospect of their manager, James J. Dillon, bringing in some of the top talent from all across the world in an effort to claim the bounties that I mentioned earlier. Justice has finally come to the National Wrestling Alliance, and its name is James J. Dillon.
The Long Riders get even.
Curtis Harrison faces off against Assassin Number 1 in singles action next, and once the bell rings, the masked man controls the match with a front face lock. Moments later, a fist from Assassin Number 1 secures the rotund man the win. Tony Schiavone attempts to speak to Paul Jones backstage next. However, those classless animals in the crowd keep interrupting with their
And I'm talking
about...
Despite this attempt at interference, Paul Jones stands steadfast and reminds everybody that he's recently brought someone to the Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling area, superstar Billy Graham, and Jones promises to get Graham a shot at the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. I can think of no one more deserving. It's only a matter of time before Magnum TA is championship bound, but first he has to put away Doug Vines in singles action next. Magnum manages to catch Vines early on with a backdrop before latching on a shoulder lock. From there, it takes mere moments for Magnum TA to walk away with the 1-2-3 following a belly-to-belly suplex. The main event of NWA Worldwide Wrestling sees half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, join Tony Schiavone on guest commentary, as the self-proclaimed pride of the USA Don Kernodle returns to in-ring action against his former tag team partner, the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff. It's been much sooner than the projected 6 to 9 months that doctors gave the Shame of the Carolinas, Don Kernodle, to recover, and I do have to question the logic as to why Kernodle thought competing with a neck brace against one of the most vicious wrestlers in the entire world, one that has personal beef with Kernodle himself, was a good idea. Are the Carolinas close to Kentucky by chance? Just curious. The match is joined in progress, and it is a flag versus flag match, which means you have to capture the flag in your opponent's corner to win. Oh, and in case you were wondering where the Russian Bear's nephew, the Russian Nightmare Nikita Koloff is, well, he's been banned from ringside. Typical Jim Crockett Jr. nonsense. Don Kernodle stomps on Ivan Koloff's face from the second rope as we join the match, which results in the Russian Bear being cut open. This leads to Kernodle strangling Koloff while shouting obscenities at him. This is unsportsmanlike.
They are communist people in our land making money here.
You're one to talk, Dusty. You're a criminal nuisance and you have no place in society, yet you're half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions. Cry me a river.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, taking the flag down from the pole.
I can't believe this. I guarantee you that if Nikita Koloff were here, this injustice against his uncle would never have been permitted. In fact, you know what? Yeah, get him, Nikita Koloff, and you know what? Take that disgusting flag down too. Don Kernodle then gets himself thrown down to the floor like the piece of trash that he is. The Shame of the USA then thinks that he can jump the Russian Nightmare from behind, but that plan quickly and predictably backfires. That prompts that no good piece of crap rotten scoundrel, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, to unceremoniously abandon Tony Schiavone on commentary and rush down to ringside. You don't belong there! Oh, but that's not enough, no. The American Dream then rushes backstage to talk to the man that he previously abandoned, Tony Schiavone, and proclaims that Don Kernodle has been inducted into his criminal enterprise.
Slam that sucker down, 85.
Slam that sucker down, 85. It seems that a lot of wrestlers said something along those lines when they outlined their goals for 1985. The Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, the current AWA World Tag Team Champions, have vowed to become the next NWA World Tag Team Champions. NWA Television Champion Tully Blanchard proclaimed that his search for a perfect 10 woman, the countdown to ecstasy, was nearing its climax. Don Muraco promised that when he was finished training for his return to the World Wrestling Federation, he was going after Hulk Hogan's WWF Championship. And the NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Long Riders, Cowboy Ron Bass and Black Bart, vowed to get even with all of their enemies. There is still an entire year left to go in 1985, and there's plenty of opportunities for wrestlers to make good on their vows. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tyler Vance Rants. Don't forget to live up to your New Year's resolution by hitting the bell, liking the video, and subscribing so you never miss when a new episode is released. I'll also remain true to my resolution to making social media feel like 1985 all over again. That's all for now. I'll see you next week. So long. It's January 5th, 1985. I'm so used to saying 1984, I almost said it and screwed myself up. Team up to face the Briscoes, blah 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 blah.